Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. It is the Daily Dish, and there you are. Yay! Aren't you so glad to be here? I sure am. Got my Canada sweatshirt on today, feeling very Canadian. Not for any reason in particular. It just happened to be clean and on my shelf. So I put it on. There's no such thing as being too warm these days. I don't know about you, but I'm freezing almost all the time. Hello, Johanna, or Joanna. I don't know how you say your name, but pretty name. Always love that name. Welcome. Nice to have you here. Sandy's in the house. Martha's here. Hello, Margot. Amber. Glad to have you here. And Jenny and, of course, Lindsay, our dream team, is in the house. Good to all be here. Chris, hello. Margot, you're there. You and Chris are both in California. You guys should connect up. That's all I have to say about that. Anyway, I'm glad you're here. Listen, I'm talking to Jenny just before the show started. We have a new supplement coming out. I'm not going to tell you anything about it, but it will be available shortly. I will tell you all about it once it's on the way. I'm just letting you know. Be on the lookout. We've been working on this one for a while now. Hi, Paige. So that's exciting. That's number one. Number two is we also have a new program that is coming out on December 26th. December 26th. So what you need to do is just be paying attention. It's that simple. Your emails will come, and this is the day after Christmas. And I will tell you, the day after Christmas, we're all going to really appreciate 100% this whole program, because you know how it is. When we go through the holidays and everything, we always say, I'm not going off the rails this year. I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be doing that. And then the reality hits, right? And I know this for fact. That one New Year's Eve, sitting there trying to put my dress on, and I couldn't wear it. That was quite a horrible thing. So we have a quote of the week that I absolutely love this week. It is Brendan Burchard, who's I would consider one of my mentors, over the years. And this is what he said: "What we are capable of is remarkable. And what we will attempt is constrained only by our beliefs." So I'm going to invite you into this space of changing your beliefs that aren't serving you, because I'm going to bet you money that unless you've really examined your beliefs, you are carting around some old stuff that's you've just been used to it, and it serves you not. It serves you not. This is a good thing. This is a good thing to maybe put in later on in your journal. There's a new show that's on Netflix called Stutz. Has anybody seen it? Stutz. And basically it's about a psychologist or psychiatrist who really goes through what the whole thing about good mental health is about. And 85% of mental health, by the way, is about changing three things. You ready? Your food, your exercise, and your sleep. 85% will radically shift and change your life for the better. Can you imagine? How interesting is that? I don't know. I see stuff like this and I think, wow, how is it that we are always looking for the magic pill, the magic person, the magic whatever, and just these basic things, we just can't get down with them. We want something that's, really sensational. It just surprises me sometimes. So all I'm saying to you is that just take that into consideration. If you're really struggling this time of year, and a lot of people do this time of year during the holidays, and you're feeling kind of down and a little bit blue, let's get your step count up every day. Let's start hydrating. Let's get to bed a little bit earlier. And let's make sure that we're not going kind of bonkers on the sugar, and the carbs and all that other kind of stuff, because it's not going to do you any favors. It might be a minute, a few seconds of fun, and then you have to live with the repercussions for a few days, weeks, years, even. That's the whole thing. I'm really excited to offer you Christmas menus. We have those if you are interested. You can find them at savingdinner.com/Christmas. And I feel like we've done a really good job on those this year. And, they're free. So go check it out. Go get your Christmas menus. And these are some good things to stick right, in a folder on your computer. So you always have them. You can even print them out if you want and put them in a book. I don't care. You do it the way you want to do it. The other thing that I want to do is let you know that, and we have a lot of people who are taking us up on this, we have a lot of goodies that are ready to be made, sent in the mail, cookie type of treat parties, have 12 days of cookies. We have so much of this, and all in total, these collections are about $147. It's a few different collections. $147 worth of recipe collections. We have the whole thing for just $27 right now. We will have it this week. savingdinner.com/show. You can find it there. Go take a look at this. This is good stuff. And it's just not stuff that you're going to see everywhere. And some real favorites in there, I will tell you. Really fun. So today we're going to go down the path of something that I just think is so important that I want to emphasize this so much, because again, this is one of those things that we kind of glance over. And I'm going to go ahead and bring our friends. Sandy's going to have a sugar-free Christmas. Bless you. I think that's wise. And welcome to TikTok, of course. And of course, we have everybody from YouTube and Facebook here. Today, we're going to be talking about giving yourself permission and what that is all about, because this is absolutely critical. When we give ourselves permission, that's when we can be our very best. When we give ourselves permission, we are also giving ourselves instruction. Isn't that so great? Have you ever thought of it that way? It's really true. Giving yourself permission is giving yourself instruction, because once you give yourself permission, you start looking for the solution and the ways and the how-tos so that you can have this thing that maybe you're after. All right, let's talk about this. It's a real simple thing. It's only 7 points. But again, you can always get this, by the way, at savingdinner.com. Sign up for a newsletter, and you get every morning, you will get yesterday's show notes in your morning email. And it's all written out for you. So it's really helpful. And this is stuff you can use in your journal too, by the way, for your own personal journey. I love this stuff. This is really good. So if we're going to give ourselves permission and instruction to be our very best self, what does that look like? Well, I've got 7 things that will definitely move the needle. If you are note takers, go ahead and start taking notes. If you're not, go ahead and get our newsletter so you can have that first thing in the morning and have these notes. And again, like I said, this will work really, really well for kind of stirring the pot a little bit and writing. And by the way, that Stutz thing that I told you about that's on Netflix, one of the things that he said to really tap into your subconscious and to really get some critical thinking. I look like I don't eat meat. I definitely eat meat. Thank you, though, I guess. I don't know. I eat meat. But he said, so one of the things that he said in this is that writing is the best way to connect to your subconscious. When we are connecting to our subconscious, you know what is happening there? That's when we're getting down to the deep root of what everything is that we want in our lives. It's true. Everything that we want, the stuff that's tucked way far in the back of our heads. So when I offer you these things, use this as a prompt for your journaling. Remember, it's not about being the perfect journalist or a writer or any of that garbage. What it is about becoming your best self. And becoming your best self is using every tool at your disposal. Because when you leverage those tools, you notice things more. You are more actively involved in giving yourself permission and instruction to becoming your best self. It's just using inexpensive tools, it's really great. So let's get down to it. Even though we have Smackin over here who says, looks like I don't eat meat. Y'all don't know that I do, except, I don't get on camera and eat a steak in front of you, do I? Anyway, so let's talk about this. So I've got 7 things for you. So how do we do this? Number 1, we need to recognize that consistency is more important than intensity. It's so funny because I get my report from Peloton every month, and in it they tell me how many days I worked out and what I did and everything. And I worked out 27 days last month, which is great. And they said, this is the hardest class you did. This is the most intense class. And there was nothing on there that made me go, wow. What I've noticed personally for myself as a woman of my age with a Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune thyroid disorder, I have noticed that if I really burn out and really crush it, I'm wiped out for the next couple of days. My body just can't handle it. It's not good for me personally. Cortisol levels, my cortisol soars and it just completely wipes me out. So you need to really get into this mode of understanding what is it that works for you. And consistency, showing up every day, is way more important than working on the intensity. So today I'm having a bar class, and inside of my head, I'm thinking, well, maybe I should do a 45-minute or 60-minute class. And then I thought, maybe what I should do is just do a 30-minute class. 30 minutes is plenty. And that's the kind of thing that I'm inviting you into, this whole space of deciding for yourself what is the most beneficial for you. What makes the most sense for you? Not what everybody else says, not what you read some blog post somebody's telling you that you should be able to eat all things in moderation and this, that, and the other. People who don't even know you. Remember this, you're not there to please them or prove somebody's blog post right. You are there to create the absolute best possible life that you could live. And you do this by giving yourself permission and instruction on your terms for what that's going to look like. Amen? Come on. This is important. This is big stuff. This is empowering. This is really huge. So when I know that I can't keep up with something, I did a class, speaking of Peloton, I did a class on with Jess King, who, she's crazy town, right? She's currently pregnant and what have you. But she is just like out there. And I couldn't keep up with her. This is a while ago. I couldn't keep up with her. And she said, this is probably a few years ago. And she said, remember, always tell yourself, I am an athlete. Does that sound familiar? And I was like, girlfriend, you know it. Yes, I am an athlete. And that's, I have been saying that forever and ever, amen. But that is the point. You are an athlete. And just because you're not doing it like X, Y, and Z next door to you, or the 30-year-old down the street, or whatever, does not mean that you're not doing a good job of it. Quit it. Quit comparing yourself and be more consistent with showing up than intensity. Okay? You don't need to hit the intensity as much. That leads to a whole thing of burnout. Pinkies up, says Chris. Amen. Pinkies up on that one. Number 2, win for today. Okay? Win the day today. Today is Tuesday. Let's win Tuesday, right? It's early in the day. We still have the whole day. Even if you sat the whole day in your pajamas and just like, whatever, and you're thinking, I just don't want to do anything and blah, 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 blah. Think about what it's going to feel like to go to bed tonight if you don't do anything. Think about what that's going to feel like. What about if you said, the rest of today, I am all in. I am all in. That doesn't mean that you're going to go burn yourself out. That doesn't mean the intensity is going to get ridiculous. That just means that you're recognizing that your days are numbered. And they are. We don't know how many days that we have. We don't know how many hairs on our head we have, right? But we do know that there's hairs on our head, that our days are numbered, and therefore that alters the way that we do life. And if that's the case for you, then do it. Stop the yesterday stuff. Yesterday was a Beatles song. Can we just agree to that? It was a great song, but it was a song yesterday. Just leave it. Number 3, compare yourself to yourself. Okay? Compare yourself to yourself. You know what? Listen, all those other folks have enough on their plates without you piling on because you're comparing yourself to them. You don't need to do that. You don't need to compare yourself to anyone. You are enough just the way you are. And I mean that in the best possible way, by the way. You are enough. When you find yourself in this place of comparing yourself to other people, it's usually in the place of either one-upsmanship or that you are less than. That's what it is. It's not like, yeah, I'm doing it just like she is and I feel really good about myself. Very rarely does that happen. It's like, well, at least I'm doing this and she's not, or this, that, or the other thing. And it's this one-upsmanship game, which I don't understand, but we do it. It's part of what we do. And number 2 is, the other thing is that we look at her and we say, oh, she's so great. I'll never be able to do it like her. And we find ourselves in this imaginary world of pulling out all the rationalizations and all the reasons why we can't be, why we can't do. And the problem with all of that is that we put ourselves in the Guinness World Book of really bad excuses, is what it is. And that's because all of our energy is going toward these excuses. And they're elaborate. And they're rationalizations. And they're yeah buts. And maybe some of them are true. But why are we spending our time on that instead of on ourselves? If we compare ourselves to ourselves and say, last year I couldn't do a push-up. This year I'm doing 25. Instead of saying, well, this gal does 50 on TikTok, right? So what? You compare yourself to yourself. Compare yourself to getting better. Compare yourself to all the things that you said, I'm going to try and do this year and that you are doing. That's the way to do it. And boy, doesn't it make you feel good. Number 4 is that facts always trump emotions. Have you noticed that? I have. Oh my gosh. Because facts are your operating system. Did you know that? Facts are your operating system. These are the things that get you through because facts don't move. Facts are just facts. This is a black pen with black ink. That's a fact. We can't fix that. We can't change that. It's always going to be a black pen with black ink. That's a fact. We need a lot of those in our lives. Those are cornerstones for our lives. This is how we get stuff done, by the way. But emotions toy with you and they create your own personal soap operas. They create all kinds of stuff. You imagine things. You go beyond the scope of what is true. That's what emotions can do. Because remember, emotions are like a wave. They go up and they go down. You ride them up and you ride them out, right? But they come up and they come down. They are just momentary. That's all. While facts stay facts. That black pen is not going to be different tomorrow morning. Not at all. My emotions will be, but not that pen. Number 5, shame is never an option. Ever, 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 ever. Instead, shift to the lesson. Always shift to the lesson. What am I supposed to learn here? When we do that, we find ourselves absolutely 100% in a whole different place because we're searching for something to learn off of this instead of finding a way to shame ourselves, right? We don't need that. I don't know about you, but I've been shamed enough in my life. I don't need any more. I just don't need any more. What I need is lifting up. I need to shift. I need to see the lesson. I need to learn from it. I need to move on. Anybody else feel like that? This is what I call the experience file. When we have something happen in our lives that absolutely shakes us to our core, the only thing that we can do with that so that we can move on is look for the lesson. When we look for the lesson, we become different women. We learn and we move and we grow. That's what happens from that. Always, always, always. That's why I call it the experience file. You put the lesson in the experience file, and when that old stuff comes up again, you know what you're going to do? You're not going to find yourself falling down into that rabbit hole. You're going to instead pull the lesson out, learn from it, and then move on. Isn't that just freedom? It's incredible. Look for the lesson, always. Number 6, mind your words. I don't know about you, but every once in a while, I'll say something really that's shocking to me. I shared with you that I left a black pen like this in one of my hoodies right here, right in my little hoodie pocket was one of these black pens. And then I threw all of that in the dryer with my bath mats, and my bath mats look like 101 Dalmatians. And as I pulled them out of the dryer, I said, Leanne, you're so stupid. Now, you know me, and this is not my gig. And when those words came flying out of my mouth, I was so upset. So upset. Do you know why I was upset? I was upset because I put myself down in such a dramatic way. Because I'm not stupid. I just did a stupid thing. Everybody does something stupid every once in a while. So I gave myself a big talking to and said, no, you're not stupid. You know what you are? You did something stupid. Welcome to the human race. We all do something stupid. Now let's see if we can fix this. You know, that's the next lesson was, how do I fix this? I Googled it. I fixed it. Done. That's the whole deal. Can we move on from these things? Yes, we can. Anytime we choose to. So watch your words. When you're saying things like I always, I never, blah, 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 be careful of what you're using it for. I use these for like food rules. Like I always eat my green vegetables first. I never eat sugar. Things that have impact on my life, things that are guardrails for me so that I don't have the wiggle room. Because as a former recovering sugar addict, I got to be really careful with this stuff. That's just how I roll. And number 7 is hang out with the right people. Am I right? Y'all know. You all know. You all hang out together. All my people on YouTube and Facebook hang out together on Facebook. We have a fabulous Hot Milk Sprint group and talk about great support. And you know, when you hang out with the right people and they understand what you're going through because they're doing the same thing with you, when you're doing all of that, that's the rising tide lifting all the boats, y'all. That's what it is. It's lifting all the boats. You know, Christina lifts up Lynn, who lifts up Vanessa, who lifts up Debbie. It just keeps going like that. And there are times when you don't even know that you've lifted somebody else up. Isn't that such a beautiful thing? And this is how the whole thing works, because community is important for consistency, which was lesson number 1 from this whole thing. We want to be consistent. We want our word to be everything, right? We want to be the kind of women that when we say we're going to do something, we do it. You know, it might be a little bit of a wiggle, it might be a little up and down, but man, if we're not going to do it perfectly, we're going to do it excellently. And excellent shows up. Isn't it true? Excellence always shows up. And excellence has action attached to it. And that's who you are. So I hope this helped for you today, because I want you to see how important this is, because if you give yourself permission, you give yourself instruction to be your best self. And there are 7 things that are going to help you, because all this is tied up in a very neat little package is mindfulness. And mindfulness is an accelerant for excellence. That's all. Because when you get out of that whole place of being mindful, and when you find yourself kind of going all over the board, you find that you're not focused, you find that you don't feel good in your own skin, and you find that you don't know where you are. You know, you've lost your way. Your true north is the authentic you. You're here on purpose and for purpose. Don't you ever forget that. That's the truth. And that's who you are. And I'm so grateful that you're in my world. Thank you so much for showing up today. I appreciate you. And tomorrow is Wise Women's Wednesday. We'll be doing it again. Peace be with you. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.